This isn't just another burger recipe, this is how we do it in the Mediterranean. I grew up eating lamb, and when it's seasoned well and paired with the right sauce, it's not just a good alternative to beef, it's better. Today we are grilling juicy lamb burgers with warm spices, fresh herbs, and the cool, creamy tzatziki that ties everything together. These burgers come together fast, the meat can be prepared ahead, and I will show you a few tricks to keep them tender, flavorful, and free of that strong lamb taste some people may worry about. Honestly, once you taste it like this, you may not go back to regular burgers. Let's get started. We'll start by mixing up the lamb patties. In a large bowl, we'll add 1 pound of ground lamb. Now, if you're new to using ground lamb in your cooking, one thing to know is that it naturally has more fat than beef, which means it's juicy and rich, but we'll balance that richness with a few Mediterranean staples. We'll add in 2 cloves of minced garlic, about 2 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and this part is optional but highly recommended, 2 tablespoons of chopped fresh mint. We'll also add a teaspoon of lemon zest. A quick tip here. If you or someone you're cooking for tends to find lamb a little strong, fresh herbs like mint and parsley plus that bit of lemon zest do wonders to mellow it out. The mint adds a subtle cooling effect that pairs beautifully with the spices and helps round out that flavor. Next, we'll season it with 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Using clean hands, we'll mix everything together just until combined. We're not kneading here, just gently folding until it holds together. Over-mixing can make the patties dense and a little tough, and we want these obviously tender and juicy. That's it for the base. Now we're ready to shape the patties. If you want to be precise, you can use a kitchen scale, but eyeballing it works just fine as long as they're close in size. We'll gently shape each portion into a patty that's about 4 inches wide and 3/4 of an inch thick. A quick tip here, the burger patties shrink a little as they cook, so it's a good idea to shape them just slightly wider than your burger buns. So before you start forming the patties, take a quick look at the buns you're planning to use and keep their size in mind. That way, once they're grilled, you'll end up with a perfect fit. Next, we'll press a shallow indent in the center of each patty. You can use your thumb for this, or if you have one, a small ramekin works great too. This little step helps the burgers cook evenly and keeps them from puffing up too much in the middle as they're grilling. At this point, if you're not grilling right away, you can cover and refrigerate the patties for a few hours or even overnight. For that reason, this is a great make-ahead option, and chilling also helps them hold their shape better when it's time to cook. Now, before we start grilling, let's prep the toppings and make the tzatziki so everything is ready to go once the patties come off the grill. This step is quick, but it makes a huge difference in how smoothly everything comes together once your meat is grilled. And we're keeping the toppings Mediterranean inspired and super fresh. We'll need some tomato slices, pickles, either dill or bread and butter, curly greens, or arugula, or romaine, whatever salad greens you have on hand. And of course, tzatziki. If you've never made tzatziki at home, it's really easy and quick, and I think it's so worth it. Here's how I make mine. Start by shredding 3 small cucumbers, or 1 English cucumber, and pressing out the liquid using a strainer or spatula. Transfer that into a mixing bowl and add in 1.5 cups of whole milk Greek yogurt, 2 tablespoons freshly squeezed lemon juice, 2 cloves of minced garlic, 1/4 cup of fresh dill or parsley, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Give it a good stir to make sure everything is mixed. If you have the time, cover and refrigerate it for a few hours so the flavors can melt, but it's still delicious if you use it right away. Now let's talk buns. I love using brioche buns for these. They're buttery, soft, and work beautifully with the richness of lamb and the coolness of tzatziki. You can definitely pick up a good one at the store. That's what I usually do. But if you want to try making them from scratch, I've got a recipe for homemade brioche burger buns on the blog that you can use. Alright, with everything prepped, it's time to fire up the grill. And if you got someone nearby who claims to love grilling, this is a great time to put them to use. We'll set the grill to medium-high heat, which is around 400 to 425 Fahrenheit, and close the lid for about 10 minutes to let it come up to temperature. Once it's hot, we'll clean and oil the grates. Doing this helps prevent sticking and gives the patties those nice defined grill marks, so don't skip it. Just dip a folded paper towel in a little neutral oil like avocado or canola and use tongs to rub it across the grates. Then we'll place the lamb patties on and close the lid. We'll let them cook for about 3 to 4 minutes on the first side without moving them. You'll start to see juices rising to the top and the edges will look set, which is your usual cue that they're ready to flip. After the first flip, we'll cook them for another 3 to 4 minutes for medium or 5 to 6 minutes if you prefer them well done. If you have a meat thermometer, you're aiming for 145 Fahrenheit for medium and 160 Fahrenheit for well done. Once they're cooked to your liking, we'll transfer them to a plate and let them rest for a few minutes. This resting time gives the juices time to redistribute so the burgers stay nice and juicy when you take a bite. While the patties are resting, we'll toast the buns. Just place them cut side down on the cooler side of the grill for about a minute, just enough to get a light golden toast without drying them out. Once they're toasty and warm, we can move on to the assembly. We'll begin with a generous spoonful of tzatziki on the bottom bun. Then we'll layer on a slice of tomato and some curly greens. Next comes that juicy grilled lamb patty, and then we'll top it with a few pickle slices. We'll finish it with another spoonful of tzatziki right over at the top and place the top bun on. And that's it, a perfectly balanced Mediterranean lamb burger that is juicy, fresh, and full of bold, herby goodness. So yes, we grilled these today, but when it's colder outside or grilling is not in the cards, you can easily make them in the oven or right on the stovetop. That's actually how I do it most of the time during the winter months. As always, all of these instructions are on the blog if you want to check them out. And when it comes to the sauce, we use tzatziki because it's quick and always delicious, but there are so many other ways you can go. If you want to mix things up, try it with a spoonful of harissa for some heat, or something really herby like choux sauce. Or keep it simple with a yogurt mint or yogurt dill sauce. Both come together in minutes and go perfectly with lamb. I'll link all those sauce recipes in the description below, so feel free to play around and make it your own. If you end up making this burger, I'd love to hear how you served it. Let me know in the comments or tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see what you come up with. As always, thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time.
Oh, hang on.
Until it holds it together. Okay.
I'm taking bigger bites, so I'm gonna slow down.
Without driving him. Canola.